Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language, episode 625.
The sexiest podcast on the network with the sketchiest microphone stands. At least one of them.
One of them, I was going to say, mine I think is pretty secure-ish.
Like
I don't know about yours.
I don't know if it's moving or if I think it's moving.
Right.
Oh, it's moving. God,
it's
damn
moving.
It.
I was just going to say it.
God, damn it. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Oh, my goodness.
I can mute this.
Well, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, I guess that would make more sense than hearing you clanging all around, but wow. Anyone who gets to see the video of this is in for a real treat.
Hey, guess what? I'm back.
Yeah.
Oh, this is...
And it's moving. It's moving again.
Like, it was fine last week. I didn't do anything. What the hell?
It's rebelling. It just hates you, Tony.
Does. You know, and if I had like a little stick or something to put on it, I'll just hold it. But I don't, Brian. All I have is the mic stand. And I'm in the basement where my other mic stand is all the way upstairs. Right. All the way up there.
Yeah.
Is it too much to ask for good technology?
For us, yes.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
I got some moves. I'm gonna try some shit.
Oh boy.
How are you, Brian?
Fine. Do you want to just stop and start again in a minute?
I mean,
to give you a chance to really fiddle a little easier.
I might just run upstairs to get my other mic stand, the one that sits on the floor.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we just do that? Well, we don't even have to restart.
But, oh, you know what? I flipped this thing upside down, which it's not supposed to go that way.
Yeah.
It's very secure.
All right.
Yeah, that feels fucking good as fuck. All right. I think we're good.
I think
Let's continue.
All right. So
that was an adventure. I'll bring my real mic stand down tomorrow.
It's probably a good idea just as a backup, if nothing else.
I don't know what,
unless you sort out.
I don't know why I said tomorrow.
What? I don't know. Whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, how's Brian?
Yeah. Not too bad. Last week I felt like I had something going kind of every day. It's like had to do, the old grocery shop. Yeah, grocery shop. Yeah, grocery shop. And then, you and I went out, which was the time.
Always.
We'll probably get to that in a minute.
Sure.
But then I went out. Oddly enough, you and I started our night by going up to Pavlov's and then leaving because the food truck was basically empty.
Can't win them all, Brian.
I was a hungry boy. So, and then Friday, or was it Thursday? I think it was. Yeah, Thursday. Jen texted me and was like, "Hey, are you free Friday? Do you want to go to?" Or maybe I don't know. It might have been earlier in the week. Whatever. And she's like, do you want to go up to Pavlov's on Friday? And I was like, sure. And then I'm looking at my money going, maybe not. Because, with not having a regular income of any kind, it's tough to go out twice in a week.
That's true. I mean, for everybody these days, that seems to be a thing.
True enough. Yeah, right. But, I got that sorted out. But, yeah, so I ended up going with her and Jeannie and couple other people showed up later, and it was nice. We sat outside. It was a little humid, but not bad, and it wasn't hot, and they had a dude there playing some music, and which when he walked up, he was wearing a Gojira shirt.
Nice.
And I was like, and I see an acoustic guitar, and I'm like, all right, what's this guy gonna play? Because I'm like, like, God, I hope he plays nothing but just metal, but acoustic.
I mean, that would be pretty cool.
I couldn't really hear him, his singing. I could hear his music playing, but I couldn't really hear his singing because there were these two tables under the little canopy that they have there. that were so loud. It was clearly like there was an older guy who was wearing a fucking visor. Have you seen those visors where it's got the like hair, like almost like Guy Fieri hair sticking out of the top of it?
Yeah, I've only seen them ironically though. I've never seen someone wearing one as like part of their outfit.
Yeah, he was wearing one of those, and as the night progressed, it got turned around. So I was like, "Oh shit, it's party time
I don't
now,"
know
you
this
know.
man, but he should have been lit on fire.
Yeah, he for sure should have been. He would have burned because I'm sure he had plenty to drink. And it was just like the people at his table. What really kind of cheesed me about him was that they were near-ish to the dude playing music, and they were loud as fuck. It's like, move way away from him if you're just gonna talk
Yeah,
very
go play in
loudly.
traffic.
That way, yeah. It's like, there are some people here who would like to hear the guy play his music. Um, but after a while it started sprinkling a little bit, and we were like, whatever. And then it was raining just a little bit, but not. I'm just like, whatever, I don't give a shit. And so we moved the table because a couple people were whining about the water. So we moved the table, like we were like when you're facing the door at Pavlov. Sorry for those who aren't local. We were directly to the right, that table that sits right there. So you can get under a little overhang they have near the door. So we pushed the table kind of as far as we could. And then I got up at one point when I did, like it was raining a little harder, and Jen was like, you just want to stand over here. We were all kind of like huddled together and it just started pouring. So of course, by then everybody who was outside, as soon as there was like a drop of water, people were like, and running inside. So inside was full up, and under the canopy area was full up. And it was like, well, we kind of just got to stand here because there's nowhere really to go post up, other than where
The
we are.
suggestion would be somewhere else.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. It was fine. It's just, we just had to stand in a very kind of tight circle.
Yeah.
It was all right, though. But it didn't last for very long. And then what was funny is there was a dude who was going to come out and order his food. And just as he hits the outside door, he sees it's just pouring, and you could just see the dejection wash over him. It's just like, because he doesn't really want to go stand in line. Oh, well, not in line, but
that wasn't the rain. He saw that guy's hat.
Yeah,
it was like, oh God, really?
These two people too. Later on, for those who obviously aren't aware, one of the owners of this place is a blind woman. I don't know if she's 100% blind or if she's legally blind. I don't know, but she was trying to navigate to the door at one point, and there was somebody holding the door open, and they were just like, you need to go right. And it's telling her to basically go to her right. She's taking it as go to her right. So she's going to the right of the door, which you can't so much get in that way. And, Jeannie stopped her and was just like, just because this dude's just giving terrible directions. And it was like, no, you need to go to your left to whatever. Because the woman the guy who was coming out was telling her, from his perspective, he's telling her you want to go right, but it was left is what she wanted to go. And then a little while later, when she came back outside, there's one of those guys from the loud table was like trying to escort her over to the table, which she doesn't need that. Like she doesn't need you to hold her hand over you. She gets around really well. Like when she missed the door, she walked up and put her hand out and touched the building, and she goes, "Oh, I know exactly where I'm at." She turned around and just basically walked around and walked right
kung fu fight the guy?
She should have, man. That would have been
ma'am,
great.
I'm sorry, but Jesus doesn't like your eyes. And she kicks his ass.
Right. Like, well, I'm sorry. He made you a little bitch.
Exactly. She does that kung fu thing where she plucks his eyes out with like eagle claws.
Yeah.
Now your eyes are mine. Yep. He's got a big jar of them.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to say she can see now.
She's just collecting them for her upcoming IPA. Hey-o.
Oh, boy. That was rough, buddy. But this dude almost trips her, walking her over to the table, and I was like, good God, it's like just
ma'am, do you use echolocation?
Oh my God. They were so fucking loud. It was quite
Yeah,
annoying.
I bet.
But it was just the one table at first. And then there was a table next to them that there all of a sudden it became a hen house and they were just screeching. And I know what it was. They were sitting too close to the music. They couldn't hear each other. So they had to yell at each other basically. And I'm like, there's open tables over here where there's not sound, but they wanted to sit under the canopy
because they're
thing
dumb bitches.
also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Ugh, what an annoyance. When I first got in there, I go up to get my first beer. I ordered, Bruiser, because that's my drink there. And so I ordered one of those, and there's a woman to the left of me at the bar. And she, the bartender's like, what do you have? And she's like, oh, it's my first time here. And she's like, I guess I'll have a flight. And she goes, because I'm sure I'll be flying afterwards. And I'm like, I just want to smash it.
Oh, God.
And then later on, she was at table 2 of the loud, obnoxious tables. So, and, I once again wanted to just, axe kick her
Of course.
in the face. Like, oh.
Come in like Frank Dukes, Bloodsport, kick some ass.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's my thing. It's like, if you're going to the bar to talk, don't sit right by the music. Go inside and sit at a table where you can talk because they just hit sports on
Come inside. It's fun inside. I don't remember what that's from.
And it was also air conditioned inside. It was less humid. But anyway, yeah, it was a good time though. And they had was it the Loaded Bistro truck I think was there, and I got a chicken Philly which was fantastic. Nice. So yeah, everybody, like Jeannie got a Cuban sub that they had and she said it was good, and Jen got a quesadilla I think and it looked really good. So I was quite, and they were only supposed to be there till 8:00. They ended up staying till almost 10.
You're making fucking bank. Why wouldn't you?
Dude, they were crushing. Like they were like, we had to wait a while to get our food because they were already backed up, by the time we got up there to order. And we ordered, got there as soon as we got there about 6:45, and, but you look around at all the tables and everybody's got a container from them. Yeah. And although it was kind of a sad thing because it's like I'm looking around and I see just tons of styrofoam containers. And it's like, yo, you're handing out sandwiches. Just fucking roll them in paper and say, here.
The day the earth wept.
Yeah, it's like unless somebody's taking one on, home, maybe have some containers for that or something. But otherwise, it's like, dude, just wrap them in paper and say, here's your sandwich. What are you doing? Like all the trash cans at Pavlov's were like, overflowing because of all the styrofoam. Also because nobody would push down on any of it.
It's not their trash can. They probably don't even push down it at home.
Yeah. I felt so bad for the owner when I saw him out there trying to fight with the one garbage can. One of the guys at the loud table, of course, is like, that thing's really giving you your money's worth. And it's like, just please wrap a bag around his neck.
I see your wife's blind.
Yeah, right. Well, one of the other guy at their table, looks at him and he was like, what are you doing taking out the trash? You should be taking your beautiful wife out. And I'm like, easy, buddy. Easy. Settle down.
Don't you just hate people sometimes?
It was like, it's funny because for the most part, that type of person has not really been the person we've encountered up there. That's more of your local bar guy.
For me,
and now
I don't go to Pavlov's typically on the weekend. So that might be the weekend crowd there.
It very well could be. Yeah.
I'm what they call
it could be.
Pro drinker, Brian.
Well, also, when we've gone on the weekend, we generally sit inside because we pony up to the bar.
I mean, we like the bar,
whatever. Yeah. So, anyways, but it was a good time. But there was just certain times when stuff like that would happen. I'm just like,
God, I hate everybody.
Yeah. I almost texted you about the woman with the flight, right away because it's there's always one I was like, well, I found her.
I'm gonna be flying. Hopefully, right into a telephone pole through your windshield.
If only my arm didn't hurt. Anyway,
I love people. I generally do like people, but
Yeah.
people like that can fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I usually like the vibe of everybody up at places like that, and it was just just people like that. Like a lot of it is really I don't like the idea of I. It's a tough scenario when a place has music because there's going to be people there who are there to listen to the music, and there's people there who don't really care either way. Like, okay, it's background sound, and then there's people who are like, I really wish there wasn't music here, you know. But I still feel like it's incredibly rude if you're going to talk, especially if you're going to talk loudly, to sit right in front of the guy while he's playing. I just feel like if you're going to sit directly in front of the performer, you should probably pay some attention to what they're doing and at least be courteous in that regard.
Would be great if he just stood up and then fucking honky tonk mander. Doing the sound of a guitar breaking over someone's head.
Yep. You're like, oh, he plays a mean guitar.
Then drops down, does that like Elvis karate pose.
Yeah. If he did that, I'd walk up and tip him immediately. I'd be like, how much money do I have in my wallet, and just dump it into his guitar case or whatever.
Exactly.
This is fantastic. Like, when are you performing?
I mean, again? I'm not going to lie. The sound of a guitar breaking over somebody's head with the strings going, "Darn," is one of the best noises ever.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Yeah. You don't hear it as much now because they gimmick all the guitars, basically. They're pretty much just, they have strings on them, but you just never hear that anymore. You just, it's basically just real thin wood on the back of the guitar. Boo. So that they smash easy.
Boo, I say.
Yeah. Yeah. Honky Tonk Man's were gimmicked too, but I've heard some stories that some of his were maybe not as gimmicked to where maybe he wanted to send a message. So I've heard some there's an episode of, I forgot what it's called on WWE. It's like Most Wanted Treasures or something like that. And they go around trying to find things that the WWE warehouse doesn't have that are pieces of history for WWE. And like one of them, there's this, I forgot who it is, if it's Jake Roberts or there's somebody who talks about like, if I see Honky Tonk Man, I'll kill him kind of thing.
That motherfucker. Is he still alive?
Yeah, basically that's what it is. It's like, okay.
But is Honky Tonk Man still on Earth?
I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't heard anything about him in a while, so I assume yes, but I don't know.
See here. Says he's a retired professional wrestler. It doesn't say anything about him being dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're looking at Wikipedia, usually people are really good about changing the tense on it from he is to he was if he's dead. So,
man, I forgot he really did look like fucking Elvis.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the whole gimmick. The funniest part is he couldn't play guitar to save his life. Like, if you ever watch those videos when he's pretending to play guitar, he's not even close to being good at pretending to play guitar. At least, I think Jeff Jarrett can actually play a guitar, and there's a guy named Elias now that does the guitar gimmick, and he can actually play the guitar a little bit. It's like, I feel like if you're going to do a guitar gimmick, you should at least pick up the most minor bits of it.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when you consider that when Honky Tonk Man was first doing that gimmick, kayfabe was super important. Like, you didn't break character. You didn't, you were supposed to, that was who you were, kind of a thing. And it's like, can you imagine you're, at a bar or something and somebody's like, oh man, we need a guitar. Hey, Honky's here. Get up here, man.
Well, yeah. And then he just hits him with the guitar. Stays in character.
You're right. That just leaves. That actually, you're right. That's the move. Yeah.
I have to actually edit my earlier statement. He only really looks like Elvis in this one picture. As I scrolled, I was like, oof.
And it's for sure Fat Elvis.
Oh, yeah. It's 100% Fat Elvis.
He was back in those days when guys had the barrel chests, we'll call them.
Yes.
Guts.
Yes.
That's one of the funniest things about watching some of the Dark Side of the Ring is when you see so many of them and you see so many of these guys that were like the top guys, and they were all just so fat.
Oh, yeah.
And they were athletic for their but not like Vader athletic.
They're like farmer strong.
Yeah. And you were just like, wow, this is insane. It's like, it's no wonder why guys that were muscular really stood out in those days, because 99% of the guys weren't.
Yeah, like Hillbilly Jim comes to mind.
Yeah.
Just a big
He
barrel of a man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but he wasn't really fat. He was just a
He was just a
big dude.
but he wasn't like shredded.
No,
you know?
no, but you're right.
He didn't have the
strong.
bodybuilder physique like Legion of Doom.
Right. Yeah, he was for the country strong concept.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'll fucking flip a steer over and bite his balls off or whatever. Whatever they do in the country, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they do in the country. All day, that's it.
Yep, flipping steers, biting balls.
Yep, that's what their bumper stickers say.
Oh, I wish Salty Language had a bumper sticker line.
I mean, we should.
We should.
Flipping steers, biting balls. Oddly enough, when he went to WWE, that was all he did there too. He just flipped over fat dudes and bit them in the balls.
That was his finishing move.
Mm-hmm. He only wrestled fat guys. It was weird.
Only.
Only. And they had to wear cow suits. It was very strange.
It was really fucked up.
I shouldn't say cow. Bull costumes, but whatever. Oh, man. Yeah. So, yeah, you and I went out and had a time on Wednesday. And
I made a great discovery that day we went out.
Did you?
Yeah, at my favorite local dive bar where I always get a delicious hamburger has some wings that just slap. God damn, those are good wings.
It did look very good.
They were very tasty.
Yeah.
And boy, that was I enjoyed Pavlov's, but walking into Burgers and there was like one dude at the bar and then that weird couple came in later, but
yeah.
That was a good time too, because I like myself a nice quiet dive bar.
Me too. Yeah, that couple that I thought was gonna explode right there on the spot. You know, 'cause they almost got into a verbal altercation and then didn't. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but they were weird. There's always one, Tony.
Well, I'm sure he was all pissed off because he probably took some sort of like sweet gas station boner pill, and then she's just ruining the mood. Fucking Gertrude over there wouldn't stop flipping at her flapper.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a Weasel 9000 pumping through his veins, or whatever.
That's probably about right. Yeah.
Yeah, he just went to the local Speedway, get himself a pack of smokes, some Milwaukee Ice, and some boner pills.
Yeah. Well, you
gotta prep. Yeah, it's date night.
Yeah.
He knows Gertrude gives it up.
Also, yeah. It was funny because that couple, I went from being sympathetic because I felt so bad that she had zero faith that he was going to show up.
I mean, that was so sad.
Like the bartender like pours her like a Coke and brings another one over for this guy that's supposed to be on the way, and the woman's just like, I wouldn't bother. I don't even think he's gonna show up. And I was like, oh boy, all right. And she made a couple other comments, and I was like, wow, this lady has zero faith in this. That was the funny part. Is like by the end I couldn't figure out whether they were just friends or if that was a potential like meet at the bar and then go bang somewhere situation.
I kind of hope so.
Yeah, I hope it was in the bathroom.
Oh, God.
That's where I hope.
Bends her over to trough.
Yeah. Oh, God. Ugh. That just made my skin
Quick,
crawl.
while the weasel's still working.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence, Gertrude.
May cause irregular bleeding and your penis to make weasel sounds.
I can't see the color blue. We got to do this now.
Yeah. Hurry while I don't have my sight.
His little fucking sock suspenders are hanging out. I'm just picturing Ren and Stimpy legs, Oh
yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. Giving her a good old Roger.
Oh, yeah. Good old-fashioned one. Just like they did it, right after when he came back from Korea. Yep.
Yeah. I still think it was funny, too. They that the woman ordered a smash burger and then complained that the doneness wasn't right. I'm like, there's only one doneness for a smash burger. Like, they're so thin that there's only really one doneness. You're not trying to serve a smash burger.
I mean, look
rare.
at her. She was drinking a Diet Coke and like a giant glass of whiskey.
That's true. That was what blew my mind the most, maybe, was that bartender just poured her like at least a double
Oh
to
my
start.
God.
It was
it's like, you want a big old glass of Yukon Jack? Let's go.
Yeah, she sure did. Yeah, she sure did.
I was like,
damn. And first I was like, well, maybe that's just to take the nerves off, or maybe the bartender's being a little nice because, she's looking like she might have a rough night ahead of her or something like that. I think that's
a standard.
I think that was her normal pour, or like that woman's normal order,
I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm a third of your age, and I don't drink like that. That's lunacy.
I'll tell you one thing yeah, right? I mean, I did when we went to the Stube because they had bullets so cheap, where I was always ordering a double to start.
Yeah, but Brian, back then you were, I can't even do the math, but you were just an infant compared to her. She's a goddamn elder god.
Yeah. Well, that's why she's able to. She's already seen immortalities. She can. True. Yeah. You know what's funny to me about the thing too was the bartender. You notice how anyone who came in, she was trying to get him to sit down at that end where we were. Yeah, and I was like, can we not do this? Can we maybe space it out a little bit, considering the whole place is empty? So everyone can have a little privacy. I
enjoyed my solitude, and then they started piling them in.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, can we not do this? It's like I used to hate that when I'd be at a bowling alley and they'd be like, okay, you're on lane 1 or something like that. And then the very next person, they put them on lane 2. Meanwhile, like 3 through 14 are open. It's like, really? Can't you put them on the next set so they're not going to annoy the shit out of me for the next 3 hours?
Can't you put the kid's birthday party on 14?
Yeah. Oh, those were the worst. I did have that happen one time where they put, kids right next to me. And I was like, because I'm up there and I'm Johnny. Like, when it's your turn to bowl, everybody else gives you, priority basically. And then when it's their turn, you let them go first. And kids don't know any of that. They don't care. They're there to have fun, and I'm okay with that. But also, I'm like, hey, you're wrecking my timing here. like
I will end you, Timmy. I don't care if you're 6 today.
Yeah, I will throw it. You see those bumpers? I'm gonna skeet you right off of them. But yeah, I hate that when, like, at the bar. I hate it when restaurants do that too. When you see multiple empty booths and they put somebody directly next to you or right across from you, it's like, you might as well just put us at the same table. Basically, it's like, can you just put a little space, and then fill it up? Go 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. Like that. That way, at least you give a little space. But no.
Can we also talk about the couple at Pavlov's that their food buzzer was like a time bomb and they had no idea what to do with it? It's like, cut the red wire.
Yeah, the food truck that was there gave those little beepers that restaurants will give you sometimes when you're waiting for your table. And we're sitting there, and this woman's, it just starts going off.
It's not like,
it's not like
off. Bang, bang. It's like beep boop beep boop beep boop boop beep boop 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 beep boop boop.
Yeah, it was piercingly loud too. Which it should be. And I appreciate that some of the places are doing that, because like I don't remember if it was you I was there with, or I think it was Jeannie I was there with, where there was somebody playing music and the truck's like trying to yell out people's names and nobody could hear them because the music was too loud. So I like that they give you those, because then you can, because the gastro truck had those, and we just set them on the table in front of us, and then, you could see the lights blink, or you hear the beep, beep, and you're like, oh, yeah.
You didn't stare at it confused? What do I do? What is this?
The best part was that
stone?
The bartender's just like, there's a button on that makes it go quiet, and she's just like, oh, and then didn't fucking push it. She just, and then she finally does, and then it starts going off again. I'm assuming that's more of like a snooze kind of situation, to where after a couple minutes it'll be like, hey, you still haven't turned me back in. And it was like, the dude with her's like, paying the bill, and it's like, just go get the fucking food. Like, just like, what are you doing?
Get
like,
out of
please.
here.
Or at least hit the mute button on the thing again. It was like she just letting this thing go. Like, oh, we're on our way out. It's like, yeah, somebody needs to like just pick you up and toss you out the door or something to get it through your head. Like, come on.
I couldn't believe the first time it went off. But she just grabs it and stares at it.
Yeah.
Like she just like woke up from a coma from like
right.
20 years ago or something.
Like your phone went off while you were sleeping,
Yeah,
like
it's like
alarm.
Like why is why is this beeping? I don't understand. Like,
yeah. This technology frightens and confuses me.
Exactly.
Just
like,
a simple man lawyer.
It's like, hey, stupid, go get your rice and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus.
It wouldn't have been so bad. Like, the funniest part to me was that bartender when he said it, and he's washing glasses, and she just lets it beep, and he just looks again. I saw him just shoot daggers at her.
He's probably thinking the same thing we are. Like, what are you, stupid?
Yeah, like, can I spike one of these glasses off her face without getting in trouble?
Will anyone notice?
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. It blows my mind when people do that.
I mean, Brian, I'm always surprised at how dumb people are, and then people surprise me again and get even dumber.
I know, it is wild.
It's shocking to me.
I also, I can't get over, and this goes to kind of anywhere and anything, how much people are oblivious to anyone else around them. In that what you do could be super rude to somebody else in your vicinity, and people just don't care.
They don't care.
I don't even know if they don't care as much as they just don't realize it. Like, they don't think about, like, we talked at the grocery store when people park their cart right in the middle of the damn aisle, or they'll stand, just stand in one place perusing instead of maybe taking a step back. So if someone else wants to grab something, they can, or, like that, or that loud noise. It's like, maybe that's super annoying to other people. Like, maybe shut it off, especially when the bartender's like, hey, push the button on the side.
With the people that just stand at a grocery store, I've gotten to the point now where I will stand there and I'll give them like 10 seconds to realize I'm right there looking where they're looking. And then I just move in and get what I want. I don't care how close I get.
Right.
It's like, if you're just that oblivious, I can't help you.
That's what I mean. It's like, and I get it sometimes with like stores, especially because you're so involved in what you're trying to think of or figuring what you just, everything else, blanks on you. But it's still, there's so many times in the world right now where it's like, if we just stopped and thought outside of ourselves a little more, or considered that in our actions, things would be a lot nicer for a lot of people, and it's not really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm not saying you should, every person who walks up, you should be like, oh, you go ahead, because that creates its own clusterfuck. As we found it, Pavlov's guy in front of me goes in, like, he holds the door for the ladies in front of him. He sees me walking up, and he's like, go ahead. And I'm like, oh, okay. I go because I'm gonna grab the door and basically return the favor so he can meet back up with his party, right? And when I go to do that, these women behind me decide they're coming in now, and they just walk right past all of us. They didn't even say thank you to him. One of them is like, oh, you guys are the door holders and the greeters. And it's like, no, you're just fucking rude.
Yeah, you're just a bitch.
Like, we weren't holding the door for you, but,
like, I would gladly lock you out of this place.
Yeah. Well, the worst part was, like, when we went in, like, they were gonna, like, they tried to kind of block him from getting in front of them. And it was like, yo, he came in with 3 other people. Like, and it's like his courtesy is biting him in the ass now, and it's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. That's why I was going to let him go so he could reunite with his team. They'd be ahead of me, as they should have been, because they were there first, But it's like, these other people remind you of the ones that, like, in traffic, where they drive all the way up to where you have to get over and then force their way in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. And it's like, you didn't give me a choice. It's either this or I hit you,
Yeah, you're the asshole in this situation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. but whatever.
Whatever.
But yeah, that's why I said, if people would just observe their surroundings a little bit better as they were behaving, I think there's a lot of times this stuff wouldn't seem annoying to a lot of people, or things could just flow better. Like the traffic scenario. If people didn't drive all the way up and just merged as you're supposed to, traffic keeps moving. And when you get all the way up there, traffic has to stop to let you in.
Mm-hmm.
You've literally made the whole commute for anyone behind you slower. Like you just said, you're the asshole there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, come on.
I deal with it every day because I have to drive through a goddamn construction zone on my way home. I love it. It's so great.
I bet. I'm sure. Yeah.
So my favorite new taco place, I've told you about it, Brian, and we still need to get tacos from there.
Right.
Has opened up their brick and mortar restaurant right up the road.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I was like, Michelle, what do you want to have for dinner today? At my work texting. She's like, how about Taco Tuesday? I'm like, oh. I'm like, the place up the road, they just opened. We should check it out. So we went and checked it out.
Mm.
Brian, I dare say, unless they change some stuff, my tacos will be coming from the little hole-in-the-wall strip mall spot still.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Because, we walk in, and the door was broke. Like, the door with the handle was locked, and the door with no handle, I had to do, an eagle claw move on it.
Wow,
which I was like, that's interesting.
First impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, as soon as you reached the airlock vestibule, it was just like,
nice.
The music was so fucking loud.
Wow.
And I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? And
I thought I was going to a taco place, not a house party.
Exactly. And it looks cool in there. Like, they did a great job. It's painted, real dark. Got a big gold rooster on one wall, big mural of, a candy skull. Looks really nice in there. The coolers are all lit up like the Mexican flag, Looks really nice.
Yeah.
Limited menu, so I can't really say anything about that. We had a good-looking menu. The service was kind of shitty, but it was soft opening still. That's why it was a limited menu.
Okay.
So I kind of forgive the service because they just opened.
Okay, so maybe they're not trained real well on everything yet. Yeah. Okay.
And the tacos we got were banging. Food is amazing.
Yeah.
But when I like we were just talking about, I like to be able to talk when I go places. I don't mind a little music, but I felt like I was at the club.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like if you're at a restaurant, you don't need super loud music. That doesn't make any sense. Because also that's going to make a lot of people want to leave.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're for high turnover, maybe that's your goal. But if you're not, to where people are only in there 15 minutes.
I kind of feel like, because they're right across the parking lot from, well, now it's La Fiesta, but El Camino used to be there. And that was the spot to go get Mexican food and get drunk and party. Because their patio is killer. The restaurant sucks, but the patio is amazing.
Yeah.
And I've seen their posts on social media of these crazy drinks they're making. I kind of feel like they're trying to take the party scene away from that restaurant. And that's the vibe they're going for, but man, it's not for me.
But I could see that on I guess Taco Tuesday, but I was going to say I could see that on the weekend, maybe amping it up a little bit for the weekend crowd.
Or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. But you wouldn't think, but I was like, well, it is Taco Tuesday, I guess. But it's like if you went in there just on a Wednesday or something, it's like it doesn't feel like it should be as soon as you walk in. It's like, whoa, let's maybe turn this down.
What I kind of want to do is I want to give it a couple weeks and then go in on a Friday for lunch.
Yeah.
And just to see what the vibe is for lunchtime.
When it's absolutely not party time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know they just opened too. They're only open a couple days, so they might be just like, yeah, we're fucking open. Woo! Or something. I don't know. But I was not feeling it. But the food is good. But
okay, well, that's good.
But I much prefer said, walking into the strip mall when it looks like you're going to get stabbed. And it's just this dingy little thing of all these pictures on the wall. And that's more my speed.
Mom and pop place. Yeah, it feels like a mom and pop instead
Yeah,
of
instead of freaking the club. But we still need to get
right,
tacos, but maybe not from there. Yeah, the move
right,
is Brian tacos, Ernest Brew Works. That's the move.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really funny though. It's interesting to the concept of having two locations and potentially having a very different vibe in
yeah.
both. I'm not necessarily mad at it,
Well,
but it
because
is
I
weird.
thought once I saw they're doing a restaurant, I'm like, they're for sure closing the other location. And then the one day I
Yeah,
went in there to pick up food, and I asked the lady who's like works there every time I've ever been in there. And I'm like,
yeah.
so are you guys closing this location once the restaurant opens? She's like, no. Oh, okay. And I'm like, all right, fair
Okay,
enough.
good.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
All
guess
right.
you never know what the future holds, but I sure hope they
True.
keep the
Yeah.
Secor one open.
Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise you'd be sad
Yeah.
panda. You'll have to go to Club Taco over
Well,
there.
and if the patio was open, it might not have been as bad because that place
Yeah.
has a nice patio, but it was
Yeah.
closed because soft opening still, and it was kind of rainy. But
Right.
I don't know, man. I was really excited about that place, and then I walked in. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I guess the only other thing you could do since it's so close to your house is, tacos to go, I
Yeah.
guess. But,
I mean, it's weird because I could drive 5 minutes, and I've got 5 different Mexican places I can eat at. It doesn't even make it.
that's
Two of
so
them I can
funny.
walk to. I mean, actually,
Right.
legitimately, 4 of them I can walk to.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
it's
You're right.
weird.
Yeah. Right. Meanwhile, where I'm at, about 5 minutes, I think, would put me, yeah, you'd be close to Cinco down there. And then if Los Agaves ever opens, I heard they're waiting on their liquor license. That's what the holdup is. Otherwise, I've read online that they would be open by now. So, within 5-ish minutes of me, there'll be 2 at that point. So, that's
Like,
not so bad. Really hoping Los Agaves has a drive-through because
I
that'd be
would
so
definitely
awesome.
check that place out with you, even without drive-through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really want to try it. Like they've got that
Oh
great,
my God.
pizza.
Siri, I
What
wasn't
the
talking to
hell?
you bitch.
Jeez.
I know,
What?
right?
How rude.
Rude and rude.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Well, the biggest takeaway though with the places, I'm glad the food was consistent
I was
though. At
worried
least it
about that.
wasn't
Yeah, and the food
worse.
is. I mean, I got
Yeah.
tacos El Pastor. Michelle got chicken tacos, and
Right.
we were both like, "These taste just like the ones from the
Which
Secor place." So, yeah,
which is good because you never know. It's funny because you'd assume they'd use the same recipes, blah blah blah. But just having a different cook
plus
can make all the
on a
difference.
bigger
Or maybe
scale too.
one place has got new. Right. Or also stuff like one place could have like newer pots and pans that don't have that like seasoning to them or
Well,
something
it's
along
like the
those
place
lines,
that when I first started going, the little strip mall place. The first time we went, there was like a little old Mexican lady in the back cooking. And like, we order
Yeah.
our tacos and you hear blenders firing up making sauce and stuff. I'm like, this is what I like,
Right. Meanwhile, they were just doing that all the
Yeah,
sauces
it was just like
you
a
know.
Sonos speaker with blender sounds.
Yeah. Like, man, you can really hear her
Oh,
banging around in the kitchen.
Yeah,
It's just a recording. She's got the bear just turned way up.
Exactly. Just really good Foley work.
Yes, chef. Yeah.
Oh man, I've been watching a
it's
lot of
great.
documentaries lately. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah?
used to want to get ready for work and or do dishes. I'd throw on like YouTube, but I haven't watched documentaries. I figured I'll start with the Arnold one. I'll be honest. I mean, I've been watching. I'm halfway through Social Dilemma, but I told Michelle about it. Now she wants to watch it with me, so I got to watch the first half again. Watching that will make you want to delete all your social media and throw your phone in a well. We're 2 episodes into Eat the Rich. It's about the GameStop stock debacle.
Oh,
and
right.
that's been entertaining, right? And then I've been watching Too Funny to Fail, which is about the Dana Carvey show.
Yes, I keep meaning to watch that, and I keep forgetting because it is an amazing concept of a documentary because that show was
Dude,
loaded
all
with talent.
stars. It was like
Yeah,
a
and
ton
it's
of people that are like
garbage.
before they were famous, basically.
Yeah, and it was not a good show. Like I remember watching it, and I was like, "This isn't funny." And it was like, "How could it not be successful with that murderer's row?" Now, again, like you said, there are some of those people who are not
Yeah.
who they are now. Like Stephen Colbert, I believe, was on it. And it was like he's obviously a much more successful person now than he was at
I
that
mean,
time. He
Steve
was still
Carell and
very
Stephen Colbert. You know?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, it was like you said, murderer's row of talent on that show, and it's
Yeah.
fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've just been absorbing documentaries now. I can't help it. They're fun to watch. You know?
Yeah. I watched all of the new season of Dark Side of the Ring this week because I wanted to watch the Marty Jannetty one, and I saw it was the newest one. I don't know if the season's wrapped yet, but it's the 10th episode. So I just was like, well, I haven't
I was
watched
just
any of these. I
plow
might as well
through them,
just
right?
watch
Yeah.
all of them. Yeah. So, and the part that kind of can suck for watching those is a lot of times the first quarter to half is explaining kind of who the person was and why they were popular type thing, really laying out for the person who's not familiar. But if you're a wrestling fan, a lot of times the early parts of the episodes, you're like, yeah, I know all this
Get
stuff,
on with
like
it.
like honestly, the Marty Jannetty one, I was really excited to watch. And it was fine, but I knew almost all of the stuff in there. Because they talk about his career. I didn't know a lot about his career before he was with Shawn Michaels in
Right.
AWA. I've watched AWA because ESPN used to run it. So I've seen a lot of their work in AWA. And I know, like when they got teamed up and everything, and they go over how him and Shawn basically were constantly having, like sex and drug parties. And I was like, yeah,
Shocking.
that's not new. Yeah, and it goes all the way through to where he gets put through a window and
As is tradition.
you know yeah um but I guess that actually happened in real life. Like they actually got into a fight at one point at a bar and Shawn threw him through
That's
a window.
amazing.
And then later on that ends up being how whatever. Now there's this woman that's a long time friend of Marty Jannetty's and is like basically 90% of what comes out of his mouth is bullshit. You know, she's like, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And, he's telling all these, big time stories and they go over some of them that just seem ridiculous and whatever. And some of those stories I haven't heard, but most of them are more like it's not a full story. It's just like he'll tell a line kind of a thing. Um, but then, they get to the part of him, obviously after, Shawn puts him through a window, basically he self-destructs. And that's the real story of Marty Jannetty is he just can't get out of
Right.
his own way. Every time he really starts heading in a good direction, he fucks up. Like at one point, like they brought him back and did a Rockers reunion. And this was when Shawn Michaels was already HBK, like big time Shawn Michaels. They bring Jannetty back because he was clean at that point, essentially. And then, afterwards, he's told, hey, they want to, they want to use you. They want to bring you back for kind of spotlight you a little bit. And he got arrested, and whatever it was he got arrested for, they basically they did never offered him the contract because it was like, well, he's got
Yeah.
jail time
This
coming
guy's
up.
clearly an idiot.
It's like just could not get out of his own way. And Al Snow's in it, and Al Snow basically keeps pointing that out. He's like, Marty's his own worst enemy. But then it finally gets more interesting because like all the stuff I've said so far I pretty much knew, right? The most intriguing part before that is this lifelong friend of his. She looks like she's got like some really awful like bottom meth teeth, and I just couldn't stop looking at her teeth when she was talking. But when um after all of the stuff with him, he gets into, remember, was it a couple years ago or whatever, when there was like this rumor that he killed somebody, like that he on a radio show kind of, and he's since kind of backed away from it. He tells everything in hypotheticals. He also says that it's a wrestling storyline
like
he
OJ's
came up
book.
with, and
if I
all
did
this
it.
shit. Yeah. And his lifelong friend says that story is true, because she said that he told her that years ago and all this. And it's like, yeah, well, whatever, friends lie for you. So who knows?
Now, Marty Jannetty, if you're listening, and we know you are, food trucks are big, right? Why doesn't he open up a food truck called Marty Spaghetti? Like paint it up in rockers colors, make it look like rocker pants, basically. Yeah,
I like that idea.
Oh, fuck yeah, gotta have the fringe. Like the awning comes out, it's got the fringe. I don't remember what his finishing move was, but that the rocker dropper. All right.
It was basically, you remember Mr. Ass did the Famouser? It was basically that, but he held their arm, and then he kind of put his, jumped, and then they would duck down a little bit. He'd put his leg over the back of their neck, and basically then it would be a Famouser.
Well, rocker dropper could be your, top tier spaghetti dish. Yeah. Telling you, Marty Spaghetti.
Yep. Actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, their finisher was a tag team, or was a duo. Was it a drop kick, or I can't remember, because they were a tag team and everything was done in unison.
Well, not anymore, Marty.
I think
not
his
anymore.
finisher...
You got to do this on your own, buddy.
Right. But some of the other episodes were really interesting. I enjoyed the Bam Bam Bigelow one, because I got to learn a lot about Bam Bam before he was a wrestler. And he sounds like he was really something before he was ever a wrestler. Dude, they talked about when he was in high school, and he was a wrestler in high school, on the wrestling team type wrestler. And he messed his ankle up really bad and wasn't going to be able to go. And his coach was like, I just need you to go where you go do the face-to-face thing and scare the shit out of the other kid. So he just shows up. He's basically hopping on one leg, and he just looks at the kids like, I'm going to kill you. The other kid didn't refuse to wrestle him. So all he had to do was hobble out there and get his hand raised. That's how big he was. Because I guess heavyweight, there's no ceiling.
Really?
And he was like 250 or 300 pounds in high school. And you know how athletic
doing cartwheels and head tattoos and shit.
Yeah. And he was that athletic in high school, basically. So, he was, a very, very good wrestler, like a real legit wrestler. Yeah, and that kid was probably like, he's gonna murder me. Like literally, he may murder
me.
I don't think I want any of this.
15 years on road, turns on TV, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He just pees his couch.
Yeah,
it's that guy that scared me. He haunts my dreams still.
Yep. Every time he does a cartwheel, I wet myself. But there's, like I said, there's some really good episodes in there. Or the story of Magnum TA, which I don't know if you remember him or not, because he was never in WWE. PI. He was in no, well, that's part of where the name came from. Is he has a Magnum PI Ness look, like the way he had a mustache and his hair and everything, and Andre the Giant actually gave him his name. Yeah, because and they tell that in there, how Andre was basically like you need a handle, like you need something to really be known by, and basically was like, have him call you Magnum TA, because his name was Terry something. Funk. I forgot his last name. Funk? No, he was definitely not the Funker. But
Jonas needs a handle. El Galdo or on the working door. They definitely need a handle.
Enough. Oh man, Andre wouldn't have a problem getting in there though. He just
pushed
like the door.
You need a handle, or however he talked.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
pretty close.
I'm a master impressionist.
Another one that was really interesting. There was the Graham family, and dude, like in their family, like 5 of the guys committed suicide. like the grandfather, the father, two of the sons, and I forgot. It was like, holy shit! Just clearly mental health running rampant in their family and different stuff. No, wrong.
My bad.
No.
I am a fan of the unit of measurement, though. Yeah.
The gram? All right. I'll allow that. But yeah, it was a good season, though. There's some so far. I don't know if there's any more episodes coming or not, but I know, to this point, it was pretty interesting anyway. So, and then
what did I say? Skinetti?
Yeah. He said Skinetti, yeah. Which sounds like that could be like his real name, And somebody was like, nah, that won't fly.
Like, that sounds real stupid.
How about Shithead? Yeah. Marty Pastetti, get out of here.
What's your brother, fucking Ted Meatball? Go on, scram.
Well, actually, yeah. Actually, my brother's name is Ted Parma. Parm, you say? Well, get in here, kid.
Oh, man.
I got it for you. I also watched the new season been watching the new season of Solar Opposites, which is on Hulu. It's created by Justin Roiland and Mike McMahon, I think it is, that were from Rick and Morty. Well, with all the shenanigans surrounding Justin Roiland, they replaced him on the show because he does one of the lead characters' voices, and they replaced him. I forgot the guy's name that they replaced him with, but he's British. So he sounds absolutely nothing like Justin Roiland. And I'm like, how are they going to handle this? Because like on Squidbillies, they just had have Tracy Morgan's voice, and they were basically like, this is my voice now, at the end of an episode. And it was kind of funny. And in this, Corvo's the character's name. He gets hit in the throat, and then he has the British voice. And then, they were like, so that's just his voice now? And he's just basically like, yes, this is my voice now. And any flashbacks will also have this voice. and they held to it in the show. When they've shown flashback sequences, the guy has revoiced the work so that it's that voice on the flashbacks. So, yeah. So I'm curious now what Rick and Morty does with theirs. If they'll approach it or not, or if they'll just move forward. Because I can't imagine they're going to change Rick's voice.
I mean, in the universe of Rick and Morty, anything's possible.
Well, and Morty. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he voices Rick and Morty. So, yeah.
It is weird.
So weird. To have to replace the lead voice talent on a show. Usually it'll be like on The Simpsons, where they've had a couple of the smaller characters or whatever, the actors or actress, pass away. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's been good too. I enjoy that show. Dude, the side stories on that show are better than the show is. Like I enjoy the show. Well, I told you about it before, didn't I? Where like the one character has like this glass wall in his bedroom, and he shrinks people down if they piss him off. Basically, he shrinks them down and then banishes them to inside this wall. Oh my God. And it's a story that what they do is they'll show most of the episode, and then they'll do like 5 minutes at the end will be just the wall story. And they keep it just keeps progressing. And it's really good. And this season, they're continuing it, as well as they have one where in a previous season they sent this guy like into space because he's pissing him off because he's like obsessed with the Fast and the Furious and his car and all this, and they just get pissed at him. They just launch him into space basically, and they show him landing on this planet where like everything is like horrific, kind of a thing. And they actually show his story of him trying to, move it. Like there's this sky shark that is trying to kill him, and then he has this hallucination of Vin Diesel as Dom from Fast and the Furious. And it's like, you got to get out there and, beat that shark's ass or something like that.
A quarter mile at a time.
Yeah, it's. But even just that little bit, the writing on that has been really good. But the wall stories are really good.
I mean, I'm a fan of the wall too, but I'm talking about the Pink Floyd album.
Oh, that's not what I thought you meant. I thought you meant the one Mexico
Yeah,
was going to pay
definitely.
for. All right.
Big fan of that. You should see my fucking back
Yeah.
tattoo I have of it. It is.
Is it incomplete?
It sure is.
Moving on. Ah,
Brian,
yeah.
I'm ready to brew.
Yeah.
I am.
Are you?
I bought a propane burner off of Facebook this week.
Did you buy it from Hank Hill?
Kinda. It was out in the country in Michigan. Yeah.
Oh boy.
But it was only $20.
It's
Yeah,
Strickland propane.
it's all I need now is I need propane and I need to clean up my equipment and I'm ready to start rocking and rolling, baby.
I don't understand what washing your balls has to do with this, but all right.
balls.
Yeah. Gotta make them clean first. Good point.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I've got,
Yeah.
Still got that fucking black cherry seltzer kit I bought like a year and a half ago. I've just never made it, so that's gonna be my first. I might make it this weekend if I have the gumption.
Right. Well, just in your favor, I think it's supposed to get closer to 90 by the weekend.
Hot as fuck. This is a good week. It's been nice and cool. It's supposed to get molten lava again next week.
Yeah, pretty
Not
awesome.
a fan. Yeah.
No, me neither.
It can piss right off.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I've been watching? Forgot about? It's Only Murders in the Building.
We watched first episode yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the newest episode last night, which is 3.
I was shocked to see Meryl Streep.
Yeah, I heard she was going to be in the show. I was, it's very interesting. I love the way that the show tries to do stuff, and I appreciate there's a couple things, I won't say what, but there's a couple moments where they break the fourth wall in this season.
I don't think I've
without even nodding at the camera, like they just do it and just move on to the next thing, kind of a thing. So yeah, she's fantastic. Like she's I mean, it's Meryl Streep, of course she's fantastic. It is interesting though when you see someone of her level end up, on a TV show, because it is a little surprising, because it's not like it used to be to where movie actors didn't do TV, because that was a step backwards. You did not.
Boy,
they're
doing TV now again.
That's
no.
Start.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, your career's gone in the shitter. Yeah. Now there's so many big time stars that have been on TV shows that, and because I'm sure they get paid crazy money for them, but also there's been some really good TV to go do. Also, it's not like she's showing up on Family Matters or something awesome, like that. Yeah, it's like playing the role of Urkel. Meryl Streep. I'm like, well, she could play it.
Like whatever.
Did I do that? Like, oh my God, she's fantastic. The blackface is a little much.
Wasn't ready for that, but goddamn, she's good.
Yeah. Paul Rudd's really good too, playing Paul Rudd, basically just a smarmy actor, but dialing it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far.
I was so happy to see that back. Yeah. But also, it's like you're watching the episodes and you're just like, just the whole time,
trying to figure out who the hell did it, who done it.
Right. Well, and the thing is, it's funny in that show because they don't always give you all the characters from the beginning. So it'll be like 5 episodes in or 4 episodes in, and they'll throw somebody in there, and all of a sudden you're like, well, is this a red herring or?
Here's what I'm secretly hoping for at the end of the season, Brian. On the last episode, I want Tim Curry to show up and reenact the whole season like he did in Clue, describing how the murder happened.
That would be fantastic.
I know,
wish
right?
He could do
I know.
that,
He's not. Strokes are the worst. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, if he still could, that
how
would
great
be
would it be to have
phenomenal.
Tim Curry show up and just do his Clue gimmick.
Yeah, all the way through it. That'd be so good. Yeah. I'd love to see that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, It is interesting because like I said, watching the show and you're trying to figure things out. And Hulu has a thing called I forgot what it's called now. Shit, it's I thought it was going to be, like there's some shows that have podcasts that are official podcasts, and they'll sometimes the producers will give a little hint or a nugget or something like that. It's called like One Murderous Question or something like that. And that's what I thought this was going to be on Hulu, and it's really not. I watched 2 of them and I was like, all right, this isn't going to give me
thanks
anything.
For nothing.
So I just wasted 9 minutes. Or whatever.
Probably way too much time anyway.
Yeah. I really was hoping what it was going to be was after an episode that there'll be like, because each episode's kind of got a revelation or something in it. I was hoping it was going to be where they would just talk about like that kind of thing, like the aha moment or something to that effect. Yeah, but
just talking about the new Taco Bell menu or whatever.
Yeah. Like, have you had those dippable tacos? Oh my God.
What about the show? Shut the fuck up, Sharon. We're talking about dippable tacos.
Hey, that's 2 questions. He already asked one. The name of the show is 1 question. You want 2 questions?
You
start your own
goddamn
show.
Hulu show.
Around here, we just do
we're talking
one.
Dippable tacos.
Welcome back to one question with Joey Parma.
and Marty Sketty.
Yeah, Marty Sketty. Weren't you a pro wrestler? Shut up. Like, well, I guess that's our time because this asshole already asked the question. Oh, dude, there's a great premise for a show. Like, if you inadvertently ask the 1 question, that's it, because you can only have 1 question on the show. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Like, all right, well, that's it for this week.
Join us next week for 1 question. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Right? Like, that's just the premise. It's like you don't even necessarily try. It's just like, shit, I already asked the question.
I didn't realize how this worked, and I'm already off the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Do I get paid for this? I didn't even say anything.
No, you don't get paid. In fact, they're running down the street right now for footage.
Yeah. Hey, no, you just tap the sign where it says 1 question.
Hey, what don't you understand about the name of the show?
Because you can't. Well, you can't ask that because that's another question. You have to form it in you have to make it a statement, not a question. Man.
Good times, man. Good times.
Good times. Did you see the last teaser for Ahsoka where it shows Hayden Christensen?
I have not.
Because apparently they show him like, in season. And he's like, it shows him like saying her name, and then they have a little hint of like Vader rising. So I was like, ooh, that made me. It's like I'm already like, come on already with the, we still have the 23rd, so it's still a week away basically. But I'm like, damn it, let's go. I'm ready for this.
Like the classic Monty Python, get on with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I assume Vader's not going to be a massive part of this, but I do appreciate the fact that they do probably need to tie up the Anakin Ahsoka storyline a little bit. Just to kind of, because it's, the time frame of it and everything, it's like it's still there, and it's, like I can't imagine Vader would just exist around, and you're going to have a whole show about Anakin's former Padawan, and just not have him in the show seems kind of weird, especially after the way Hayden Christensen was received for Obi-Wan, where people were like, oh my God, he's back, instead of being like, ugh, the way they were for the prequels.
I'm hoping it goes something like Pulp Fiction, and like Vader's crossing the street and almost gets ran over by Ahsoka in a speeder, and he looks at her, and then it turns into a whole thing.
That would be awesome. I'd watch that.
Or he's just like at the pharmacy or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. He just kind of looks over the top, because he's tall as fuck, looks over the top of the shelves like, motherfucker, is that my old Padawan over there? Getting feminine products?
Yep. Hey,
Yeah,
burn
exactly.
face.
Sup, wrinkle face.
Hey, noodle face. Yeah. Oh. You know I can't help that.
That'd be great.
Turn your voice modulator back. Like, I
Yeah,
know that's not your
exactly.
real voice.
All right, wiener
Oh.
left on the grill too long. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Go on, scram if you're half a leg.
Oh, man. She keeps sending him
Yeah,
gifts of
exactly.
burnt hot dogs. Like, this is just mean. Like, I'm glad you're not my Padawan anymore.
I'd love to see some catty shit like that.
Yeah.
Super
Real petty. Like, you could have stood up for me. Look where it got you. And it just shows a hot dog on a grill.
Oh, I love it.
Just wearing a Team Obi-Wan
Exactly.
t-shirt, you know?
The fuck am I hearing?
Oh, man.
Sorry. I'm not used to being in my basement. I'm just hearing weird noises coming from above.
Well, it seems better than being upstairs and hearing weird noises from the basement.
That's true. That's true.
Because then it could be spooky ghosts or something.
Or the person I keep locked up down here. They must have got free again. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, you got to use better, I don't know, whatever.
Bungee cords, I don't know.
So here's a story that you'll have to tell me if you find this terrifying or amazing.
I'm going to lean towards amazing right off the rip. And we'll see what we got.
All right. So apparently there are clinical trials starting next year for a drug that could potentially regrow teeth.
That's okay. Scratch that. That's kind of terrifying.
They're excited mostly for there's people who have a condition. Where is that? I just had it and I lost it. Tooth agenesis, I think it is, where basically you don't grow teeth.
That's
like you can't grow teeth. So there, the first use of it is excitement for people who can't naturally grow teeth, that they could give you this medicine and then they could grow their own set of teeth. But the other potential excitement for it is that when your teeth go to shit, instead of getting dentures, you might actually be able to grow a new set of teeth.
What if you, Brian, hypothetically get really intoxicated and then take a nighttime bike ride and break your tooth off in a curb? It's all hypothetical,
of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that was something I wondered. It's like, would it grow a whole set of teeth, or can they like give you a smaller dose to where it would just grow one?
What if I accidentally spilled on my hand? Does my hand grow teeth? Because that would be weird.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Like, oh my God! If there's a movie about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't there a movie about that? Oh, real quick, I was incorrect. The condition that people have is not that hinders the abilities like chewing, swallowing, and speaking. That's not the condition for not being able to grow teeth. Damn it, I lost it again.
It's called silly mouth.
I gotta quit scrolling.
Like, they got a rough case of silly mouth.
Anodontia, something like that.
I've seen her dance on stage before.
Of course, she has no teeth.
Perfect.
Oh, she's the old Tuesday brunch dancer, huh? Hey, Cupcake, here comes old what do you
Gums.
want?
It's Anodontia.
It does sound way more exotic.
Gums, I know, right?
Yeah. Gums is her hooker name. Adoptia is her stripper name. Because when you're looking for a hooker, it's all business. You don't care about you don't need the fantasy.
I can't type Anodontia in my text message. Gums, I can type.
Right. Anodontia don't want none unless you got gums. All right, that's terrible.
No, it was amazing.
All right, moving on.
Who cares? It was fun.
It's a On a Don Shaw. All right. But anyway, yeah. So they're saying that they think that, you know, if the clinical trials are successful, this could be fully available for dentists by 2030. That's in our lifetime, and given our age, could be very exciting because that could be about the time where we're starting to lose all our chompers. I think this is really exciting, but all I can picture is anytime there's something like picture, okay, they have artificial insemination, right? To where it's like you hope you get pregnant. Well, there's always a chance with some of these things that you could get like 90 babies when that happens. So what happens if you get like shark mouth? Like you get like
what if I get fucking bomber teeth?
Right. I mean, is that better than dentures?
I don't want TEEF. You know?
Right.
Teeth. Just saying.
Well, and like you said, it's like I don't know if they could. Will it work for just one tooth, or do you have to grow a whole new set? Like, is our mouth going to be okay with growing a new set of teeth? You know, like, are they going to have to pull all your teeth for the new set to come in? Like, how much time is it going to take to grow them?
Can I just grow teeth in a jar?
Do you do it ahead of time? Right. That's what they do now, basically. They just fabricate teeth.
Oh, real teeth.
But there is a massive advantage to having real teeth versus dentures because, you know, you still can feel things. You can measure your bite strength. There's, you know, you can lose some saliva production from dentures. There's all these, you know, you can spit them out accidentally.
I remember when I was a kid, my dentist told me if you don't brush your teeth, you'll lose them, and then you'll never be able to get them back. Fuck you, Doc.
Put them right next to the teacher that said, you know, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time.
Axe kick to the face.
Like, well, they were right. It's in my hand.
I got one on my wrist right now. You dumb bitch. Yeah.
A tooth?
That too.
Oh, right.
That would be kind of weird.
That'd be kind of weird. Like, what time is it? Everything says 2:30, of course. You know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Classic.
Ugh. Yeah, I saw this story and was kind of like,
weird.
This is
but cool.
Like, they talked to some dentists, and the dentists were, you know, very excited about it because, you know, that potential of like I said, being able to grow teeth. I guess in mice and ferrets they regrew teeth, so that seems terrifying.
Yeah, that is weird.
All of a sudden, you got all these ferrets and mice out there with extra teeth. You know,
it makes me wonder. Like,
go ahead.
If you know, when you get braces, they got a lot of times pull teeth to make room, so make everything spaced out. So what if your skull basically has a blueprint for your mouth, and then you take this drug, and all those teeth that were pulled out are like, we're coming back, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking like wisdom teeth.
Fuck that. If they're like, yeah, it's gonna grow back everything, including the wisdom teeth, I'll be like, yeah, keep your drug. Yeah, I will also become gums.
Yeah.
I don't need no sideways ass coming in wisdom teeth.
Right.
Coming in drifting like fucking Fast and Furious. We don't need that in my mouth again. I did that 4 times already.
That's why I said I'm very curious. Well, or even a situation like Logan.
Oh yeah, basically face cancer because his tooth went rogue.
Yeah, you know, it's like there's some stuff in there that I'm very like, hey, what about this stuff? And I know it'll probably be like, yeah, there's this like tiny chance, but like the wisdom tooth one is one I'm very curious about because it's like, hey, let's maybe not. That'll be the thing is there a way to? I'm very curious to see if there's a way that they can dial it up or down based on like I said, do you have to grow a whole new set, or can it? What would be awesome is if they could give you some way of like, you know, just maybe injecting into the spot where you need the tooth and it'll just regrow a tooth there. That would be awesome.
I have a feeling it's going to be like an all or nothing situation. Like, yes, we can regrow your teeth, but we have to pull all of them.
Right. That it would be like, hey, I'm sorry you're missing 1 or 2 teeth, but we, like you just said, it's like we can't, this won't work for you unless we.
And then you're going to have little baby teeth, and then you're going to have your real teeth.
You're gonna have nibblers for like a year. Yeah.
How fucked up would that be? You get baby teeth first.
Oh God. They fall out, then the real teeth
Got
grow
some
in.
50-year-old guy playing with his
Got,
tooth like a saloon door.
yep.
It's so
Grandpa, what are
wiggly.
you doing? He's tying his tooth to the door.
Exactly.
Hey, shut that door real quick. Why? Just do it. Anyway. Yeah. But in more fun news, apparently in San Francisco, where they've got self-driving cars with no driver at all that go around picking people up,
That's
like
terrifying.
Uber or whatever. Yeah, they apparently people are having the sexuals in those cars.
If you could bang in a robot, wouldn't you?
Well, here's the thing. I would assume that there's cameras everywhere in that car.
Gums has no shame. Don't matter.
Right. I was going to say, you don't know who owns what rights with those. Like the next step will be, where they start broadcasting what's going on in the taxis.
That's why I'm going to own and operate a self-automated cab out there and just call it BangBot. And it's all going to Pornhub.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's smart. I like that.
You don't realize it. If you get a freaking ride of BangBot, all the footage goes to me. As soon as you open that door, you've signed the contract.
Right. Nice. Yeah, it says it's not explicitly against the rules to have sex in the cars. They just ask you to not do anything disrespectful, offensive, or inappropriate towards others in and outside the vehicle. And that you have to basically, keep the car clean, type of a thing. So, no money shots all over the upholstery.
Sometimes you got Spider-Man or robot.
So I guess they're not.
Tell you.
Well, they're not a fan of pulling out, is what it is. You got to figure out something else there. I assume that they'll probably be updating their policies and saying, "Hey, no,
all
no
right, this is enough of this, guys."
Yeah, it says actively both companies have cameras inside and outside the car, which the companies say for safety and maintenance purposes. But the chances of your sexcapade getting recorded are high. Also, the windows aren't tinted, so anyone outside could catch a glimpse too. There's ways to cover that up, though.
Yes, our cameras are all over the interior of the car for safety, maintenance, and jacking off.
Yep. 100%.
Sweet voyeurism.
We're only watching it for quality control. And by that, we mean so we can give you feedback on your technique. Like, guy was too loud. Really turned me
like
off.
A grizzly bear was in there. It's crazy.
You start seeing a review, like on your review page. It starts showing
Turn back
up,
your bush,
like,
bro.
Oh, boy.
Like, what?
Yeah. Seriously, I couldn't see anything.
Like, what? I got a thumbs down? Why? I was a perfect gentleman in that car. No sex. Sorry. Thumbs down.
Right? Yeah. No sex. I like that. That'd be funny. Like, tap into our live taxi feed, or get our saucy 18 and over only feed.
Automated after dark.
Nice. That's going to be the next, show. Like, they've got those, I forgot what it's called. Like, it's the one where they follow the cops around. Not like cops, but there's one where it's like a 911 live or something like that, where they are just following cops around. I think they just launched like an emergency crew one too. And it's just that, but it's just for taxis.
HBO used to have Taxi Cab Confessions. Yeah, it was like saucy taxi stuff.
Yeah. I thought that would be the logistics of it would be a nightmare, but I thought it would be really interesting to drive, like if a person was like an Uber driver, to do the podcast within the car and just ask people questions as they get in and out of your car. But you'd have to have clearances and all that kind of stuff. So, it could become kind of a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, I like the idea, but there's definitely some people that are really like, I just need a ride to the airport. I want to fucking talk.
which would be fine.
Like,
yeah,
well, sorry,
just,
you're the next guest on Ubercast.
Right. I always wondered that with like Cash Cab. It's like, was there anyone who got in and was like, I don't want to be on a fucking game show. I'm already late for my flight. Can we just get to the airport?
All the lights and the sound. You're like, you don't understand. My mother's dying at the hospital. Just get me to the fucking hospital.
I always assumed that they screen the people ahead of time, to make sure there aren't scenarios like that. Because otherwise, the logistics of that seem like you're gonna hit one. The law of averages say you're gonna hit one person that is either like, dude, I've got a wicked migraine, or I am so fucked up. Like, there was never anybody who was like, taking a nod and nodding out in the back seat kind of thing on that show. Everybody was part of the fun. Yeah. Having sex, whatever.
Of course. Yes, of course.
Like, how'd you know lights get me going?
Finally, Cash Cab the solo session.
You mean I can get paid for this? Fap. Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Well, we should probably move on to our.
I'm ready to do the Q's of the Dubs, man. If my mouse would cooperate, there it goes. Well, there's nothing on Instagram, so we're not even gonna look at it. So last week, excuse me, we asked you, and I'm like all dry-throated. What is a common saying that annoys you and you wish it would just go away? Oh, former Diamond Top fan Kiki. She says, I feel like, or she says, fire no cap. I feel like I'm old or something because what the fuck does no cap even mean?
I couldn't tell you what that means. Do you know?
It means you don't have a hat on, maybe.
All right,
fair enough.
I'm looking right now. Apparently, it's a song with Cardi B and Bruno Mars.
I care even less now.
Okay. It says the Urban Dictionary says the use of the phrase "no cap" is meant to convey authenticity and truth.
Yeah, that's pretty lame. Our old pal Jason Morrow, he says, "At the end of the day." I don't know why it's offensive. I don't know. Maybe we're missing something.
I don't know. Maybe he's just tired of it because it's been used so damn much.
A Diamond Top fan, Dev. He said he's got quite a few actually. Says, "Make America great again. Don't tread on me. Let's go, Brandon. Every biblical quote certain people use to justify being a shit person, and I get enough exercise pushing my luck."
Oh God. Yeah, there's so many of those. Like that last one, I get enough exercise pushing my luck.
Julie says, fake news used as a counter to anything reported that someone doesn't like. And then last one, Zach. And this one I agree with because I have a guy I work with that says a shit every time he walks by you. Living the dream. Makes me want to jump off the goddamn 280 bridge. And not over the water either, over the concrete part so I can make sure I succeed.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Jeez, all right.
So there you go.
Yeah, I can understand that one because that's, the living the dream thing is for sure got to go.
It's pretty rough, isn't it?
Yeah. Everybody's got one too. There's something that everybody says that their friends are probably like, oh God, he's going to say this again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the guy, like a guy I work with, he'll walk by and you'll be like, how's it going, buddy? And I'll be like, fine. How about you? Living the dream. No matter what, it's always that. Yep. Always.
What you need to do is start beating him to the punch. Start saying it before he says it. How you doing, buddy? Living the dream?
You are 100% right, Brian.
Just rob him
steal
of it. Meanwhile, that's the only thing that brings the guy joy at the end of the day, every day in his gratitude journal. Tony asked me how I was doing again. Got to say living the dream again.
Hell yeah,
Winning.
brother. That's fun stuff. But that's all I got on my
Yeah.
end.
All right. Well, on Twitter, Besotted Geek Pod says, "Welcome to the history of bad ideas." Savage.
That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun.
That's
I
mean.
like it though.
It's just mean. Yeah. And Cheeto says, "There's no one to cover this shift, so we're gonna need you to work over." That's a great answer. He's also, everyone called off. Also, you drank all the beer. Also, that shit bussin' for real. Or FR ONG no cap. So okay, that's not necessarily a phrase. I just wanted Brian to say it.
No cap though. Hits again.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He got the no cap.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That's all the rage in our answers apparently too.
Man, this Ham's hat is so soft, Brian.
Yep. Oh, I was all excited you were going to start talking about ham.
Although
for a minute there.
Ham's is a destiny thing for me. Maybe
rum ham.
Now I got several people I work with. They're like, dude, Ham's, and I'm like thinking about my Ham's hat, and then I got some targeted ad for Ham's, and I'm like, I apparently need to buy Ham's again. Wow, did you just tune into the sun? Jesus.
Yeah, I did. Good Lord.
Brian just opened up the arc reactor.
Yep. I am the arc reactor. What are you talking about? Jesus. Oof. All right. 1 through 6.
3
for this week. 3? All right. What TV show were you completely obsessed with before losing interest before it ended?
Before it ended. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had my answer ready to go, and then you said before it ended.
I was going to say, I actually can think of one probably for you.
Oh, yeah?
Already. If you line up with the internet anyway. Yeah, Witcher.
Yeah, 100%. We just stopped watching it.
Because the internet's like, early Witcher, amazing. New season,
for
hot
sure.
trash.
We haven't watched it in weeks. So, yeah, that's a thank you, Brian, because I said I had an answer, and I guess another one for me would be Westworld. Like, I was all about it, and then I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, because season 1 and 2, I watched, like, boom, as soon as they came out. Season 3, I was like, I don't even know if I don't even think I finished season 3. I think I quit. I can give a few of them, like Orange is the New Black. I really liked the first, 2 seasons, and then I was like, I'm done with this. Shit, there was another one I was just thinking of. Because that's what it usually turns out as, is like shows I just don't finish because I'm like, it's just not as good. Honestly, True Detective.
Oh, yeah.
Season 1 I love. Season 2 I don't know if I don't remember if I finished season 2. I never picked it back up. I heard the later seasons were, was decent, but I never went back and found out. But yeah, I'm trying to think. There was another one I just had in my head, and I can't think what it is now. Oh well, maybe I'll think of it by next week.
I mean, you could always answer your own question. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's true. I could. It's true. It's true. Because there are a lot of shows that start out sizzling, and then by the end they really peter out. I mean, I could say Scrubs, because I really loved Scrubs, and those last couple seasons were. Oof.
A little rough, buddy.
A lot of people probably. I figured Game of Thrones might be a popular
that was
answer
going to be my answer, and then you kept talking, and the question got different.
Yeah. So, yeah, a show that you were totally obsessed with, sure, but lost interest by the time it was over. That's the thing. It's funny though too, because there's quite a few shows that I've probably lost interest in, but I finished just to see how they would finish. Because you're like, well, it's gotta pick up for the finale, or
like
whatever.
surely
like Dexter,
it's gonna get better.
That last season was trash.
Surely it is.
Yeah, because dude, when I started watching Dexter, I mean, I was like,
I did the same thing for sure.
And then I got into that final season, and it took me a while to finish it because I was just so not good. So, Yeah. Whereas like Game of Thrones, I finished because, mainly because I didn't want the internet to spurl it. But
it spurled itself. Let's be real.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, there you go. The question again: what TV show were you completely obsessed with before losing interest before it ended? This is not worded well. It needs to be reworded. The word "before" is in there too much.
Before.
Too much. Yeah, before. All right. Well, there you go. Head on over to saltylanguage.com. Check out all the links. Please check out tangentboundnetwork.com where other shows on our network can be found. Or if you're looking for a network for your podcast, if you happen to talk to Mark, I don't know. Tell him to hurry up with the studio for us. We're still waiting. Like I don't understand how we've been around 150 years. Like we should have a studio already. Right? Like what's going on? Pretty ridiculous.
Ridiculous. It's the second time my mouse has committed suicide off my couch.
Perfect. All right. Well, if you want to reach out to us on social media, you can find the show on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on most social media at
You can find me on Instagram at The Monotony. You can also find the show on TikTok at Salty Language. On YouTube, if you're watching this, cool. If you're not watching this, you can at Salty Language Pod. Patreon.com/saltylanguage if you want to help your boys out for the low price of a cup of coffee or more. That's up to you. And there is some bonus content there, which Brian, actually, when we're done recording, I got to talk to you about something. And I do an all the beers thing, which I do believe I might have a little extra time to actually do something with. Shocking.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. Brian, you also have stuff.
Yeah, I have another podcast called The Crazy Life where it's me, Jen, and Henno, and we talk about mental health, mental wellness, mental illness, recovery, addiction, all that kind of stuff, and our journeys through those type of things. So if you're into that, please give us a listen. Yeah. And let's do us a what is that? Insult of the week, taunt, whatever, curse word, whatever you want to look at it as. This week's is Gong Farmer.
Gong Farmer.
You want to take a guess? Yeah, gong, like the thing that, like the knowledge gong. Yeah.
I'm going to assume it is a farmer that harvests delicious gong fruit. Oh, then I have no idea.
It is a toilet cleaner.
A toilet cleaner? Is gong like some sort of other name for like a shit? Like, man, I gotta go ring my gong or something.
Oh man, that would be. Oh my God, there's a whole thing on Wikipedia about this. Jesus, wow. Gong farmer. There's also a bunch of other names that go with it. Was a term that entered use in Tudor England to describe someone who dug out and removed human excrement from privies and cesspits. The word gong was used for both a privy and its contents. As the work was considered unclean and off-putting to the public, gong farmers were only allowed to work at night, hence they were sometimes known as nightmen.
The nightman
The waste they collected, known as night soil. Yeah. The waste they collected, known as night soil, had to be taken outside the city or town boundary or to official dumps for disposal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So
there you go. Apparently it paid really well.
Being
probably
a farmer, huh?
awful job. Can you imagine how you would just smell?
It smell like a fucking red hot gone.
Because it's not like people were known for their cleanliness in those days.
I can't even imagine what someone dropping a freaking 1800s dump seemed like. Probably very loose.
Yeah, with their dietary things, it was probably a real mess.
And getting gong everywhere. Really changes the whole premise of the Gong Show, doesn't it? Man,
I guess
that's fun.
Like it's over. Someone just takes a steaming dump on the stage. Like, all right, well, that's
That's
it.
it.
You're done.
It's over.
All right. There you go. Gong farmer. So
Gone, baby,
yeah,
gone.
that's yeah. Ugh. All right. Well, there you go. So until next week, have a beer. You'll be
Stay
fine.
salty, everybody. Drop a hot gone, I guess.
Ugh. Ugh.